Hi, Pritam. I don't know what happened. Others have not joined today.
Good morning, sir.
Very good morning.
Okay.
We'll get started, okay? We'll let them watch
Okay,
that.
sir. Okay, sir.
Sure. So I'm going to share my screen. So I hope everything that we discussed yesterday was clear and you got access to the assignments as well, right?
Yes, sir. I have this.
Perfect. Okay. Okay. I want to finish it off by next 2-3 days. Okay. We
Okay.
don't want to keep it longer, but because the other topics also needs to be covered, which Durga is waiting for us. Okay, so we have done Excel functions. The objective was to understand how analytics can happen in Excel. Of course, this is not everything that we have, obviously, right?
Yes, sir.
But then, of course, the idea was that you get exposure to what we do, how we do, things like that. Next thing, okay, today our focus will be on pivot table and pivot charts. Okay.
Okay.
How do you perform different pivot table and pivot charts? Now we'll take same data that we have here, employee data. Okay. Um, and yeah. So okay. Now pivot table. Okay, and then we'll come to pivot chart. Pivot table is about uh, it's the best way to perform your dissecting your data, right? You want to slice and dice your data. This is the best thing to do. So what you do is, okay, you go to any place, okay, click on it, and then you go to insert. And then you see the first option here, pivot table. Click on pivot table and say from table range external source. So if you are importing data from different other source, then we could say external source, but most of the time you'll have data in Excel. Click on this. So this will select the data that you want to include. Okay. So obviously here, everything I want to include. Okay, so that's why it says A1 to L15. Just make sure that, okay, they are, can you see my screen, right?
Yes, yes, sir. I can see your screen.
Perfect. So just make sure that everything that you need is selected, right? From A1 to L15, this is what I need. You want to create the output in new sheet or existing sheet. So I've already created sheet 1. So I'll say existing sheet and then I will, click on here just to tell that I want this to be created on sheet 1 B2. And that's it. You say okay. So pivot table structure is created here. Okay. And on the right side, you will see the properties here. So pivot has 4 important properties. You have filters, columns, rows, and sigma, calculated values. Calculated values could be your total, count, average. Okay. And this is a filter on which you want to create a filter. Let's say I want to filter out only based on location, only specific location. You can filter that. Column and rows are values that you want to display on column and on rows. And you can have multiple type of multiple filters and multiple rows and column values. Okay. So let me start with dragging and dropping LOC ID in the filter. Okay. So you see LOC ID by default it is all, but if you click here, okay, you can select specific location. I want only 2, only 3, only 5. If you want to select multiple items, then you have to check this box. If you check this box, then the check box will appear. You can select multiple values. Otherwise, you can select only one value at a time. Okay, so for now, let me keep it all. Now, visualize, okay, what you want to do. I want to see, okay, what is the salary of, people from various department. Okay, so I will drag basic salary to this value because I want to analyze salary. So salary is something on which you will do the calculation. So by default, it says basic sum of basic salary. So all LOC ID and it has done sum of all the values in the basic salary column. Okay. Now I want to check only for department 2. You say department 2. Okay. Now this is sum of all the salaries. Sum of all the salaries belongs to department 2 employees. Okay. You can select that way. Okay. And this will keep changing. I don't want, let's say, sum. I want average. So go and here you see on the fourth properties that you have values, you go and you have something called as value field settings. And then it will show you all these options. Sum, count, average, max, min, product. Okay, the one that we did yesterday was sum product is product. Count number, standard deviation, variance. Okay, this is standard deviation for population. This is standard variance for population. So all these metric you can calculate. I want to see how many employees are there in department LOC ID 8, right? Then I'll say count. Count will tell how many employees are there. So this is, it says there are 4 values belonging to LOC ID 4. Okay. So this is the calculation value, and this is where you can create a filter. You want to add more filters. You can again, let's say draw designation, and I'll put below LOC ID. So if I put below LOC ID, here you see designation also came below LOC ID. So now if you select location 8 and you click on designation, so lead, manager, program. I want to see how many managers are there. So click on manager and say okay. So see, it says there's only one manager that belongs to location ID 8. I want to see how many leads are there. I'll click on lead and then I say okay. So 0. There are no leads in location ID 8. Okay, so you're able to filter down the values here. I also want to see the names of these people. Okay, so if you want name, okay, you have name here, and you can drag this name to either row or column. How do you want to display? You want to display along the rows or along the columns? I want to display, let's say, along the rows. So I'll put along the rows here. Okay, so since we do not have any lead, okay, you don't see anything, but let's say I'll change it to programmer, let's say. Okay, so see, programmer, you have Rohit, okay, and count of Rohit is 1 because we have done count of salary, right? So for Rohit, okay, we have only one Rohit, that's why you see 1. If the names would repeat, okay, if there were 2 Rohits belong to department 8, you would have seen 2 here, Ravi and Virat. So grand total is 3. I want to see the salary of each of these people, right? I'll go and I'll say again, sum of salaries or average of salaries. Okay, I'll say average of salaries, let's say. So anyway, since count is only 1 for each, okay, you will see only average. Now let's say I want to see both count as well as average, so that I will know whether it is for 1 people or 2 people or 3 people. So you go basic salary again and drag and drop here. Okay, and then you can go and select, let's say count here. So now you see. So this is your count. Okay, and this is your average basic salary. So anyway, if count is only 1, then basic salary is only 1 person. But let's say if I select all the department, then there are some names which are appearing more than once, right? Say Rohit, right? So there are 2 Rohits in the entire table who are programmers. Okay. So this is like average salary of 2 Rohits. So total salary will be this into 2 approximately, isn't it? So this is how you can play with the data. I want to display something on the column also. You can display column also here. Okay, I don't want no in the row. I want name in the column. You can do that. I want to see the phone number also of each of these people, but I want to see phone number on the column side. You can drag and drop on the column side also. Okay, so this is how you can play. I will click anywhere, this properties will go. Okay, if you want the properties to appear, click on this, the pivot table properties will start. You can even close it. Okay, you can click on close, it will go away. Okay, so advantage is that if you want to filter on some of these, you can always filter, right? I want to see only people from LOC3. Okay, only programmer from location ID 3. So there are two programmers in location ID 3. Okay, so in location 3, We have only 2 programmers, and total salary is this. Not total salary, this is average. Okay, so this is average salary. So 50,000. So this is how you can play and display the different values in Excel. Make sense? So, okay, so pivot table was there for many, many years. Okay, recently they added, recently means also it's now 5, 7 years, 10 years, I guess. They added pivot chart. You can draw charts also to it. Okay, so let's say I go back to our original table, employee, and we'll go to insert. And here you see, okay, you have pivot chart in charts. Okay, so you say pivot chart. Okay, you want chart or you want chart and table both? Okay, you want only chart. So click on chart. So entire table selected. I'll say new worksheet. So it will create a new worksheet here. So this is your pivot chart, right? You can rename it. Okay, and this is our pivot table. So go to pivot chart. Okay, so this is table. You can select whatever you want to. Whatever you select, you can see the graph here. So let's do this thing. Let's do designation on rows. So all the unit designation comes here. And let's do salary on the values. Okay, so by default, it is sum of basic salaries. So see, graph is created. Okay, you want to add LOC ID as a filter, drag and drop LOC ID. So now LOC ID has come here. You can select 2. Okay, only location ID 2. You see, things will change. Okay, so location ID 2, you only have programmer, you don't have anybody else. So only programmer's total sum has been displayed here. So you can create charts also along with this. Okay, makes sense? Sure. Okay, so you can create your report, you can create your filter, you can create charts. All these things are possible in Excel. Okay, and this pivot is very actually, very important. Okay, you have tons of data, right? And it becomes very difficult to understand everything. Okay, you have thousands of data. So just create pivot table and you keep selecting whatever you want to. Okay, people actually they create multiple um, template. So they'll create template for, let's say, LOC ID. If data has many columns, right, you will end up creating different types of this thing. Like for example, like when I do, right? So we have to deal with different instances, different customers, different cases. So I have one set of template only for customers, one set of template for instances. You can have multiple instances belong to one customer, right? So then you have cases, you have one pivot for cases. So again, you will build multiple template and you keep changing the data and your, okay. Now let's say if I go and make some changes to the table here, okay. So I don't have to rebuild the pivot again, but I have to refresh it. Okay, it will not know that you have made some changes. Okay, so right click on it and then say refresh. If you click on refresh, okay, then it will go and pick the new data. So anyway, we do not make any changes, so there is no change to this. But if if you make any changes to the original table, you just go and click on refresh. Automatically, it will refresh with the new and latest data. Okay, so this is how your pivot table. Okay, let's do. Okay, let's understand what we call as VBA programming. Okay, so far we were doing only analysis. Now we will do a little bit of programming. Okay, so programming is a way of automating your Excel sheet by writing programs. Okay. Um, so okay, so there is a certain type, okay, of
Lokman, Nissan, Skibidi Griezmann.
Lokman, Nissan, Skibidi Griezmann.
I can hear something from back end. Can you hear my voice?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what you see here, right? This is called ribbon. Okay. Like paste, copy. If you change the tab, insert, then this different ribbon will appear. Okay. So now we will learn how to perform, okay, VBA code. Okay. So as I said, VBA code is writing a program. Okay. Just like you do Python or any of these program R. Okay. You have this pattern, and this pattern. Okay. Okay. First we have to, I just said, okay, yeah. So you need to save this, okay, in a different file format. Okay. You have to save this in a different file format. This .xlx cannot, okay, cannot, handle VBA. So if we have to do VBA code, okay, and which we'll do at least one, okay. Okay, so first let me save this one, and then I'll say file save as. Okay, and when you say file save as, then you will say browse. Obviously, you want to locate the folder where you want to save. Let's say I want to save here, and then you change the file type. You see, it says Excel macro enabled. So only macro enabled, only you will be able to save. Okay. So I'm going to select this and I'll say July Excel VBA. Okay. So this is the file I want to save. Okay. I say save. So now file format type is changed. It is VBA. Okay. Now most of this VBA work happens in developer tab. Okay. And to keep moving this. Okay. So for developer tab, okay. Okay, you can see here, I don't have the developer tab here, right? Do you see here developer tab? No. So I need to enable it. Okay. So to enable it, go to file, options, okay, file, options, and then you have something called as customize ribbon. Okay, you see customize ribbon, and see here, developer is there, but it is not checked. Okay, so I will check this box. Okay, so once I check this box and I say okay, now you see developer tab has appeared here. Okay, developer tab has appeared. Now we can write our command. Okay, so we'll do our VBA programming. So we'll go to new tab here. I'll say, let me put at the end. I will say practice VBA. Okay, so this is the sheet. We will add the VBA code. Now, okay, so go to developer. Okay, these are all related to developer or VBA. Okay. Okay, so the easiest way to do is you go to record macro. When you click on record macro, it starts capturing your actions. Okay, you can go, you can add something, you can delete something, you can move the sheet around, whatever. And then you say stop. So whatever you did from start recording till end recording, is captured as a program. You can see that it is saved as a program. And if you run it again, it will perform those same steps. Okay. But let's say if I have some text, if I delete the text, I record it, save it. But now if I replay it, it will try to go and delete the text, but text is not there. So it will fail. So what we generally do is if there's a complex steps that we need to perform, we go record it, and then you go and change it. Making edit is easier than writing from scratch, right? But let's learn to do it from scratch. So here you see properties, view code, and run dialog. Okay, so there is a VB editor which is attached to Excel, but it is not seen by default. If you want to write any code, VBA will be writing the code programs. Those programs are saved in that code, VBA editor. And if you want to see, if you want to see that editor, you have to click on View Code. When I click on View Code, can you see, guys, a different tab? No, is it shared? I'm not sure. Let me.
Yes, sir.
No, it is not shared. Okay. Now you see this. Okay, when I clicked on View Code, that's when this would appear. Okay. And on the left side, you see, this is the file. Make sure that you're working with the right file. So this file is bold. That means this is where we are working. And these are the different sheets that are there. And this workbook you see, this is this VB editor. And this is where we will be writing our program. Okay. So first thing first, let's go back to Excel. Okay. And I'll put a simple command here. So you go to Visual Basic, no. Insert, okay. In developer, you have insert, and these are different controls. Command, this is a button, right? Where you can add command. So click on this button to do certain thing. Then you have something called as combo box, okay, checkbox, scroller, all these things you have. So let's say I will have the button part. So I'll go, and then this plus sign appears, and you can draw the button here. So button would appear, and now it says, okay, assign me a macro. Macro is the program. Okay, the VBA program is there called as macros. So it's saying that you assign me a macro, assign me a program. So if you click on this button, this macro will be called, this program will be called. Program will be saved. Okay, it will not be called automatically. When you click on this button, that's when this macro will be called. Now, where do you want to save this macro? You can save this macro in all open workbooks. And then you can say new. New is when you write the code from scratch, or if you say record, it will start recording. I told you, right? You can start recording, and those recording will be saved to this. So what I'll do now, I'm going to start from scratch. Okay. So I'm going to rename the macro name. I'm not going to say button one click. I will say hi. Okay. Say hi. So say hi is my macro name, and I'm going to say new. Okay. So it opens the VB editor, and you see sub means subroutine procedure. Okay. In Excel, we have seen procedure, right? This is same thing. Okay. Procedure in VBA. So you say sub space, okay, procedure name or the function name, say hi. This is what we give, right? And this is bracket open and close to indicate function. And this is end sub. So your subroutine or procedure starts from here and it ends here. Everything that we want to do here, okay, should be between sub and end sub. Okay. So I want to display a message box. Okay, when they click on button, it should display a message box. So you can say MSG, and it's clever. Okay, it will suggest you. So MSG BUX. So M capital, B capital, message box. And then I'm going to say here. So you see here, this is the prompt. Prompt means what you want to appear, the text that you want it to appear. Then button can be VB message box style, VB OK only. VB OK only means that the button you'll have only OK. You can have OK cancel. You can have OK, cancel, retry. All these things you can give. Then you have title. What do you want to display on the title of the message box? Okay, help file, context, and then result where the data should be saved. Let's say you want here to enter some information. That information will be saved in message box result. So let's see step by step. The first, of course, is prompt. So I'm going to say, okay, how are you? Okay, the message box bracket open and how are you? So this would be the prompt here. I can run it like this also, and you can stop like this. Okay, this is pause, break, and this is stop. Okay, so I will go to Excel. Okay. So this is the button 1, and we added say hi to this button. Now, if you click on this, you see that how are you being displayed? Yes.
Yes.
So see how are
Yes.
you displayed, and you have this OK button here because we
Sir,
get.
could you excuse me for a moment? I need to hand over the keys.
Sorry.
Could you excuse me for a moment? I'll
Oh,
be
yeah,
back
sure,
in
sure.
5 minutes.
Please come
Yeah.
back. Okay, if
Okay.
it's a minute, I will wait for you.
No, sir. It will take 5 minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
So you will have how are you text being displayed, and by default it is VB okay. That's why you said you get VB okay. Okay. And I'll say okay. Okay. You can change the settings of this button. Okay. You go. Okay. So now you see there are this developer views of two types. One is the run mode, and other is the edit mode. Now, if I click, no, it will always run. This is by default run mode. Okay. So if you want to edit it, you have to change to design mode. Okay. So design mode. So then it will, if you click on it, it will not run. Second option is you right click. Okay. And then you say form control or assign macro. Assign macro we have already seen. Let's do form control. So form control will open this form control where you can change this display of type of these. Okay, so for example, button, you can change the font, regular, bold, italics, size, you can make it bigger. Okay, underline, color. Let's say this is font, right? So I can make it, let's say, blue color. Okay, all these things. Then alignment, you can change center, left, right alignment. Size, you can change. Okay, I can change width. Okay, then protection, locked, by default it is locked. Properties, margins. Okay, so mostly we'll be using font. You can change the font settings here. Okay, and then you say okay. So see, it became bold and blue. Just double click on this and you can change it. I'm going to say change it to hello. Okay, not only that, you can also go to design mode, or you can go to properties. Okay, so design mode, okay, you select this and you go to properties. Okay, so the properties of button will appear here. So in sheet 5, okay, you have worksheet. You go here and you can change, like this is displayed in alphabetical order. You can display this in category. So you can change the purpose here. Okay. Then again, if you want to put it in run mode, disable. Click again on design mode. It is now in run mode again. Okay. Now, right click, let's say right click, and we'll go to view code. Okay. We are going to the VB editor. Okay. So you can give title, right? So here, now these are the different button types. Okay, ignore VB, abort, retry, ignore. Okay, sometimes you get okay, abort, retry, ignore. If you want abort, retry, ignore button to appear, you will select this. Application model, critical. Critical will have that red cross. Then default button, you can create your default button. Okay. Now let's say okay, cancel. I use okay and cancel. So you can say okay, cancel. It should be in same line. Okay, and now put title. Title, I'll say welcome. Okay, if you don't want okay, cancel. Okay, so we can say VB retry. Okay, retry would be better. Okay, let's do that. VB. Okay, abort, retry, ignore. Okay. There's a red line here. Okay, let's do this from beginning. Okay, so I'm going to use abort, retry. Okay, then you say welcome. Okay, okay, expected equal to. Okay, so we'll put title equal to. What happened here? It says expected equal to. Okay. Okay, so maybe I'll say val1 equal to. Yeah. So when you say abort, retry, ignore, right? It will return a value. Okay. It will see. Okay means only one option, right? No, there's no other option. So there is no need to catch. Now, whether you have clicked on abort or retry or ignored, you don't know, right? So that's why it says that you need to have a value equal to. So when I say val1 equal to this, if I click on abort, that information will be saved here. That's how you know whether the user has clicked abort or retry or ignore. Okay. So, okay. And you can have another message box here. Okay. This time, okay, let's do this. Message box, and we will print val1 and we will say VB okay only this time. Okay, we'll put the bracket. This also expect a value to read. Okay, we will say val2. Okay, so we'll save it. We'll go to our Excel. Okay, you click on hello. So first you see, we give title hello, sorry, welcome. The text, how are you? And we said abort, retry, ignore. So abort, retry, ignore. I'll click on retry. So retry has a value of 4. Okay, so retry have a value of 4. So now it says 4. So value 1 became 4. If I click on something else, abort is 3. Okay, so I can click on ignore. Ignore is 5. So 3, 4, 5. Okay, so okay. Now let's say to display which button user clicked. Okay, so okay, so here we'll have to use condition, right? Okay, so user has clicked on is it retry or ignore, correct? So we will have to add a for loop. Okay, so how do you add a for loop here? Let's go and see. So I'm going back to our program. So now we know that if value 1 is 3, it is abort. Okay, if value 4, then retry, value 5, then ignore, right? So I will, here comment is this apostrophe. Apostrophe is comment. Okay. So I'm going to say if val1, okay, val1 is equal to 3, then if val1 equal to 3, then we will say message box user wants to abort the process. Okay, so then And then, okay, so you will have end if at the end of if condition. So if I have to add more condition, here I have to add more condition. So you will say else if, single word, else if val1 equal to 4, then I'm going to copy this and paste here. User wants to, 4 is retry the process. Okay, and then finally you will have else. Else means if it's neither 3 nor 4, then perform here what you'll say. Okay, and then to indicate end of if, I'll say end space if. It indicates end of if. And here I go and I'll say user wants to ignore the process. You can save it. Okay, and then you go to Excel. And I'm going to run hello and see what happens. How are you? Abort. User wants to abort the process. Okay. How are you? Retry. User wants to retry the process. Okay. How are you? Ignore. User wants to ignore the process. So this is how you can add a button, write a code behind it, and handle what user has clicked. Of course, right? This is just to demo, but in reality, you'll say, okay, if value 1 equal to 3, then you'll have certain, block of code that you will add for that. Okay, so, but this is how you will be able to read different values. With me, guys?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Similarly, you can say insert, you can insert a checkbox, ActiveX control is also there. You can try that. You can have a form here. Okay. So this is called group box. Okay. So you can group certain box together. Okay. Let's say you have 10 things. You can group them inside this. Okay. So you have group box. Okay. So you need to select it, right? So yeah. Then let's say checkbox is there. This is label. And this is text. Okay. So let me draw this text here. Okay. Now you see, I want to display something in the text. Okay. I want to display, something in the this text box. Okay. So how can I do it? The message which I'm printing, right, in the message box, we'll try to print this in the text box. Then how can we do it? What would be the logic, general logic? Hmm?
No idea, sir.
Okay. So the basic way is, okay, that, okay, you need to know the name of the text box, isn't it? Okay. I need to know the name. And if I know the name, okay, that what is the name of this text box? So if you click on it, you see here, it's text box 1. The name is text box 1. So now when we go, okay, to if condition, instead of saying message box, we will say write into text box 1. Write into text box 1. Okay, that is it. So text box 1 is there. We will keep writing to text box 1. Okay. So let's see what happens. Okay. And then we will see if it gives any problem in writing. Okay. So I'll go back to editor, right? You can see the editor, right?
Weird.
And now instead of, okay, here I will say you have text box 1, right? Text box 1 dot value. Okay, text 1 dot value equal to, you say, okay, because here you can directly say the user wants to abort the process. Okay, so we added this only in the 3, that means abort. Okay, save it, go to Excel now. Okay, now I say hello. Okay, so debug. There is an error here. What is the error? So first thing, it displayed the abort, right? It should not have displayed the abort, correct? Retry ignore is fine, but why did it display there? Okay. So first thing, okay. So if you want to see, it's still running mode. Yellow screen means still running mode. So stop it here. And then now, okay, so let's look at the structure. Use your text box, like here we have only one file opened. But if you have multiple files, and if there are multiple files having text box 1, it becomes difficult to know which text box 1 to add. So first thing I will say is active sheet. Okay, what is active sheet? Sheet which is active, the bold one. So July Excel VBA, this is the file, and in that file also, the sheet in which we have clicked. This means the sheet called practice VBA. That's your active sheet. Dot, here it is your text box. Okay, so in the active workbook, in the active sheet, you have text box 1. If text box 1 was in different sheet, then you'd mention the sheet name, sheet bracket open and sheet name. Okay, and instead of saying value, okay, here we have to use text. Actually, this should display. Okay, let's see this. I'll save it. Okay. Okay. Can you see the Excel? Not yet. Can you see the Excel? I'm facing some problem in sharing. Yeah? Can you see the hello in Excel? Wake up, guys.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Click on hello. How are you? Abort. User wants to
Yes.
abort the process. Hello,
Yes.
abort. User wants to abort the process. Okay. So now we are able to add content to this text box 1. Okay. Now let's go and add lines to the other this thing also, like the else and this one. So I'm going to say same thing here. Copy and I'll paste it here, and here I'll say about to retry the process, and here ignore the process. Save it. Now I'll go back to Excel and okay, ignore. So user wants to ignore the process. Okay, so yes, so this is how you'll be able to, create all the other stuff checkbox and labels, text box, okay? And you can write a code behind in the micro and you will be able to access these values using micro. Okay, so yeah, so generally, very rarely you'll be using in analytics. Okay, that's why we're not getting into detail, but of course, it has its own features, right? You can build a Excel with a lot of functionalities to it. Okay, so this is how we write VBA code in Excel. We'll stop here for today. Tomorrow we'll talk about goal sick, scenario manager, and then we need to do some data analysis like correlation, regression. Okay, we'll do those things. Okay, so yeah, I'm hoping to finish it by Friday. Okay, so please come to the session for next 2 days. We'll wrap up by Friday. Okay,
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
take care, guys. See you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye, sir.
Good, sir.
You too. Thank you. Bye.